Genesis 1:11 not only describes plants appearing on the earth, it reveals a God who brings ordered, self-sustaining life out of what was once barren, and who builds ongoing fruitfulness into his creation. The 3 kinds of vegetation. The verse speaks of vegetation, then specifies seed-bearing plants and fruit trees with seed in them, which many scholars see as a broad category, all green growth, made concrete by 2 main subtypes, plants with seed and fruit trees. In other words, God covers the dry land with a full range of plant life, from simple grasses to complex trees, so the world is ready to support animals and humans who will come later. The Hebrew term for vegetation can include all photosynthetic life, and the mention of seed and fruit highlights that these plants are already mature and capable of feeding other creatures. Day 3, therefore, marks the beginning of organic life in the biblical account, with the land transformed from bare ground into a living, green environment. According to their kinds and seed. The repeated phrase, according to their kinds, stresses that God creates distinct, stable types of plants, each with its own built-in pattern and capacity to reproduce. Seed in itself points to an internal, God-designed mechanism of reproduction. Each plant carries within it what it needs to continue its line, generation after generation. This emphasis on kinds and seed underlines order and boundaries. Creation is not chaotic or random, but structured in a way that preserves the integrity of each life form. It also anticipates the later blessing to be fruitful and multiply, connecting plants' reproductive capacity to God's larger plan for a world filled with life. God's word and gradual fulfillment. When God speaks, the earth brings forth vegetation, showing that his word is the trustworthy source of life. Some commentators note that while the command is perfect and practical, the unfolding of plant life can be seen as a process that develops as the earth's conditions and later creatures' needs take shape. Either way, the text presents no struggle or competition of gods. A single sovereign creator commands, and creation obeys. This stands in contrast to ancient pagan myths, in which life emerges from conflict or chaos, emphasizing peaceful, purposeful creation. Theological and practical implications. Theologically, Genesis 1:11 portrays God as a provider, providing a stable, ongoing food source before he creates animals and humans who will depend on it. It teaches that human work and life rest on God's prior, continual provision of land, plants, and the whole ecological system. Practically, this verse invites trust and gratitude. Every crop, tree, and meal is part of a creation that God ordered and sustains, not an accident of nature. It also calls for responsible stewardship. Because God designed an ordered, fruitful world, humans are to care for that order rather than exploit it in ways that destroy the very systems he established.